Hi everyone, Cheryl Elisa for Urban Akron. Today I am sitting here with Miss Cheyenne D. Boyd. First of all, how you doing, Cheyenne? Good. First of all, I want to say her and I went to school together. Central Howard alumni. I had to throw that in because it's just a good school. Even though they're not open anymore, but we are Eagles in our hearts, so that's a good thing. It's good to see you after all these years. I haven't seen you in a while. Good. Good. So let's get down to it. She wrote a book, everyone, and it's called You Can't Play the Game If You Don't Know the Rules. Now, what I'm going to start with is you have been a licensed social worker for over 20 years, right?
Correct.
Okay. Tell everyone what made you want to get in that field.
Truly, it was inspired by God. I'll
Hmm.
truly say it was inspired by God. I had actually, at Central Howard, I was in medicine and health program at Central. So I thought I was going to be in medicine. I thought it was, and what I recognized when I got to the University of Akron, I actually went to a counseling and testing center, and I found out my strengths were in the helping field, but in the helping field in social services.
Okay.
Once I found that out, I realized that was really my calling, and since then, it's the purpose that I know what God had intended me to do.
That's good. 20 years is a very long time to be in a career like that. Now, when you first got in, and I'm more than sure you were meeting children from all different walks of life. Tell me how that was, like when you first got into that career move.
Well, when I first got in the career, I did a few different things. I was in drug and alcohol treatment,
Okay.
and then eventually I got into dealing with foster care and foster care situations. Um, was dealing with a lot of young people with all kinds of issues, and with their families. And it eventually came into working with the population with independent living, and then I became the emancipation resource specialist for my current position, which puts me in a place where I'm working with youth from 16 to 25 years old. Now, specifically with emancipated youth, foster youth, who left the system, who age out of the system, and now come back to receive resources, information, and services.
And that's good that they do have a position like that. Have you, just on the side real quick, have you seen a lot of the kids that came into the system when they got out because of their age? Did they, have you seen them come back? Like, do they come back and
In
just to
droves. Unfortunately, yes.
do they?
Feel that, once a young person ages out of relationship to their family, and they do, but unfortunately, some situation that put them in the foster care in the first place. You know, what else we find, and this is why you don't know the rules. It's a guide youth trans adulthood for just foster youth, but it's for all youth that are wondering what to do, where to go, what to find things, where to look for resources, and how do I get stuff, and how do I look for things. So it's for all young people and some adults too.
Right, right.
So what I found is that a lot of young people go home, and then they expect as an adult for their parent to take care of them, whether their parent is doing well now or not. They want this entitlement. They want people to do for them, and
Yes.
they feel like you owe it to them to provide for them. Why don't I have this Xbox One or PS4 or this iPhone Plus? And so they have a an imagination that somebody's supposed to do it for them instead of how to work to get it for themselves.
Okay. And you're absolutely right because I'm learning that, dealing with the public period and dealing with children, growing up being a cheerleading coach and everything. That's what they do expect, and there are parents out here that will go overboard to do for them,
Yes.
instead of them getting it on their own. So since we're talking about the book, let's get into the book. Again, everyone, it's called You Can't Play the Game If You Don't Know the Rules. that title in itself. Tell me, how did you come up with that title?
What I People don't know the rules. Okay,
Okay.
they don't know the rules to adulthood. And what I say is we are working with a push button generation now. Do you understand that if on your smartphone that all you have to do is ask Siri, what's 2 plus 2, and she will give you the
Right.
answer? You know, you
Right.
don't need to learn how to read a road map because you got MapQuest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you got Google on your phone.
Mm-hmm.
You got all these things, and what happens is you don't have to do anything to find the answer. We no longer use the encyclopedia schools or high schools. We answer and hang out in the library. You can find it on your smartphone. What that's happened in this um, Z population, or what they're now as the millennials, is they have missed that part of things that we did growing up that we had to do things to get. We had to go to the library at Central Howard.
Exactly.
We
Yes,
had to
we
walk
did.
down to the library
Exactly.
and hang out at the library and look. We had to go to Bierce Library if you went to the university and look at the card catalog and figure it out and look notes down. Now, copy and paste.
Right. So simple and easy.
Right.
They don't work for it. It's basically what
Nothing.
it is.
And what happens is explain what you have to do to get it. What you have to do, you know. What people don't realize is, in the book I talk about how young people now want to be Wayne Gretzky, you know, they want to be entertainers. They want to be LeBron James and Michael Jordan. But what they don't, with all the money LeBron has, and for coming from Akron, what they don't realize is he gets up and go to
He goes
practice
to work.
every
That's
day.
right. He goes to his
You know,
job.
he performs to his greatest every day. He does everything he has to do. He's not sitting at home waiting it to come for him.
That's right.
One of the things that's in the book, it starts out talking about a game. It talks about you can't play the game if you don't know the rules. So it talks about, if you said you were a cheerleading coach. I remember you cheering as a young person.
Right.
You
And a
cheered
cheerleader
for
also, right?
East High Pee Wees, remember? So at that level, when you played or you cheered for those kids, those young men that was at East Pee Wees, they played at that level for that game. Okay?
Right.
A team, B team. But what happens is, what young people don't realize is that when you become an adult, you at the highest level. You at the NFL, you at Major League Baseball. Okay? So you got to play the game based upon the rules of that level. Okay?
Mhm.
So you know the rules of the A team and B team.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
In the book, it explains that if you were playing a game and you get the ball, I throw you the ball, Cheryl, and you run down the field. You got to run down the field and cross the
Right.
and that little you thing, you get an extra point.
That's right.
You know, and you keep doing that over and over, you eventually win the game if you got the most points. What the book is saying is, well, heck, what if somebody come and knock the ball off your hand? You running back and you running. Kids of this generation to go over to the referee and shake their head and say, he just took my ball. Okay?
Right.
He just took my ball. The
Exactly.
referee, that wasn't fair. He just took my ball. What they don't realize is that's part of the game. They committed a fumble. Instead of realizing there's a fumble and they need to run the other way to get the ball back, they are shaking their heads saying, you took my ball. I don't believe that. That wasn't fair. I can't handle that.
Making excuses.
Right. While somebody else done ran to the other side and
Right.
hit 6 points.
Right.
Exactly. So what I'm saying with the book is, at this greater level, guess what? You can be fined. You know, you could get kicked out of the game. Something's going to happen to you. Okay?
That's right.
It's up to you to know the rules to the game at that level. And what I find is that young people at 18 and older are not preparing themselves to know the rules of the game at this level.
Wow. Okay, we're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to get back with Cheyenne Boyd with this book right after these messages. Okay, everyone. Cheryl Elisa for Urban Akron. We are back with the author of this book, Miss Cheyenne D. Boyd. The name of the book again is You Can't Play the Game If You Don't Know the Rules. So, Cheyenne, we're back. So, let me ask you this. One of the excerpts I seen in the book, it said about making bad decisions. So, explain that to the audience as far as what you mean, and then what could they do to overcome these bad decisions that they make?
One of the aspects, like you said, was making bad decisions. And what I talked about is oftentimes young people make bad decisions and then they make a decision, making their bad decision worse.
Okay.
So I think I gave the example as, for instance, a young girl getting pregnant, okay, or even choosing to be in a situation. Okay, then she gets pregnant. That was one choice. But then it comes to a point where you might choose not to tell anybody. So you choose not to get good prenatal care. You choose not to get good health care or vitamins, or you might not get WIC, and then you might end up having a baby in a stall or a baby in other situations, without the proper care, without the proper nourishment. Um, and there's safe haven laws now. So even you've heard that children have, or young people have, put the baby at risk by a garbage dump or
Yes.
having them in a bathroom stall or that. And what people don't realize is there are things called safe haven laws where you can go and at least drop the baby off at the hospital or at a church and not be prosecuted because of this. But that is one decision that's made, that you continue to make a choice, and it could have major repercussions. One of the things a good friend of mine, Carla McDay, had told me, uh, youth between the ages of 18 to 25 make decisions that can totally change the course of their lives. One decision can totally change what it is, either by going to jail, either by getting pregnant, having babies, or just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. The same type of decisions that you make during those ages can cause certain things that's so traumatic that it takes years and years to get out of it. Even credit cards, even
Yes.
just
That is a good example. Credit
yeah.
card debt. Yes.
So all those type of things are things where you need to learn rules, learn the budget, learn where resources are. Because young people at that age don't like to ask for help because they finally an adult. They finally think they know it all. They finally get the opportunity to make decisions for themselves because other people have been making them for them, and so they want to do it on their own. And then sometimes they get in such a hole, it's so hard for them to climb up out of it. So this is a basis for young people to be able to read and see that you can ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask, and realize there's people and resources out there to help you.
Right. Now, we don't want to give away too much of the book because we want you guys to go out and purchase the book, and she will let you know where you can do that later. But tell us how you came about with this book. You said it was self-published.
Yes.
Right. Like, how was it hard? Did it take a long time to get it all together? Did you have to go over it consistently and then get it out to the publisher? Like, tell us, how did the steps come about?
Um, Actually, this book has been about 3 years in the making.
Really?
And yes, on the back cover, I tell you it was inspired by God, because working in the field that I'm in and working with these type of people, what I find myself is saying the same thing over and over again,
yes.
and it's like sometimes you don't get it. So I do understand that, and what I was, can you imagine God had a Bible there for us to see, and he's saying it's right there, yet I tell y'all the same
Right, over and over
again.
Yes.
Y'all don't listen, it's right there.
Yes.
Really? He look at you like, really? I told you, my works are finished. So it was, one day I was in Bible study and I was like, boom, I just knew it. That God said, this is what you need to do. Put it in writing so someone can understand and see. Put it in a book so small enough, and even to the words that I'm speaking to, for young people to understand.
Right, because that's what I noticed about it. The excerpts that you had sent me, to me, it really geared towards the youth. Like there was nothing in there majorly hard for them to understand. It was just like it's simplicity, and
I
that's exactly what it is.
purposely made it simple because I wanted everybody to understand it. You don't have to graduate from college because a lot of the kids, or graduate from high school. Kids I work with necessarily from high school,
Okay.
but they still need to know. They still need to
Yes.
understand. They need to know how to access resources. They need to figure out how to go get food stamps if they don't know how. They need to figure out how to complete an application
Yes.
or where to go find it. Okay, so if they didn't finish school, how are they gonna know? You know?
It's right here in this book. We are going to let you hold your book. You're going to look in the camera, and you are going to let the audience know exactly where they can find and purchase this wonderful book. And seriously, before she does that, I really think it's very important for a lot of the parents out here to not only buy this book, but make sure even if you sit down with your child and read it together, because it makes a lot of sense, and it lets them know, number one, the parent is willing and able to help you, but you have to have these tools. It lets the child know. You have to have these tools to go out here and make it in the real world. So Cheyenne, go ahead and look in the camera and let them know about your book.
Well, this is You Can't Play the Game If You Don't Know the Rules. A guide for teens and young adults transitioning into adulthood. You can find it by contacting me at 330-322-3325 by phone or text, or it is on Amazon. You can get a free Kindle app and purchase it for ebook for $2.99, and I believe it's $8.99 in the cover at Amazon. So get you a copy today and give one to a young person.
Yes. Cheyenne, you were amazing. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me.
Everyone, this is Cheyenne Boyd. Please go out and purchase her book. She gave you guys the information, and we will see you next week. This is Cheryl from Urban Akron.